So let's say you connect your computer to the wall where you've got an internet connection. Your computer starts out, it doesn't have an IP address, so it sends out a message in a special protocol called the Dynamic Host Control Protocol, saying, hey, I'm new here, somebody give me an address, and then it sends that to everybody who can hear it. Usually that's going to, who's going to hear it is going to be the router it just connected to if it's on like a home network, or if it's like the only computer at your home and you're just plugging it straight into the wall, it's going to reach your internet service provider, and your internet service provider is going to give it a DHCP response. It's going to say, hey, guy who just asked for an address, your IP address is, 40, 40, 40, 70. I mean, I'm, like I said, bad at giving example numbers. So, and then it'll also say, here are a couple of DNS servers, and they're at like 208.67.220.220 and 208.67.222.222. Those actually are DNS servers. I know those two. So then when your computer, like say once it's connected, you make a request for maps.google.com. So your computer has, it's brand new, fresh out of the box, never connected to the internet before, and also didn't do any of this during setup. So it doesn't know where that is, or it could have changed. So it's going to make a request to that DNS server. It's going to make a. Actually, I can't stand on this side. Camera frame's not right enough. It says 228.67.220.220. Where is maps.google.com? So 228.67.220.220. That is OpenDNS. So OpenDNS, your ISP usually provides the DNS server. Like Comcast provides a DNS server, and it recently went down. And then everybody thought that Comcast went down because they couldn't go to new websites. So OpenDNS has a list of the root servers, which is the first thing. The first thing from the right on the domain is the top level domain. And for .com addresses, it's run by VeriSign, which is a company. They provide certificates and stuff, but they also track every company that has, or anybody who has a .com, their names are on VeriSign's giant list of people who of where .com servers are. So it asks the VeriSign .com server where Google.com is. OpenDNS probably knows where Google is, but this is what it would do if it were something a little bit more obscure that it hadn't heard of before, or if its Google cache just went away. So VeriSign will come back and tell OpenDNS, if you want to know where Google's names are, you should ask the Google name server, and that's like 8, 9, 10, 11. Probably not, but random number. So OpenDNS goes back and it asks Google's name server, hey, I hear you know where all the Google domains are at, so could you tell me where maps.google.com comes from? And then, so this is Google. And then it can respond with, sure, maps.google.com is at 13, 14, 177. And so then, and that response goes to OpenDNS. OpenDNS remembers, okay, next time somebody asks me for maps maps.google.com, rather than go through that whole bonanza, I'm just going to say back that maps.google.com is at 13.14.100.77. And usually this response will come back with, and that's good for the next, like, 3 hours, which I think is 3,600 seconds, or is that 6 hours? And if it's really big, it's gonna be like, okay, you mean 3 hours. And if it's really small, like if it says that's good for the next 5 seconds, it's like I'm not gonna ask for 5 minutes. But so then OpenDNS will tell back to your computer, if you want maps.google.com, you got to request something for 13.14.100.77. So then, with this, it goes and it makes a request to maps.google.com. I've still got a few minutes, so I'm going to try tackling how, it's actually not that tough, how registration works. So, VeriSign as a company controls the .com top-level domain. They defer to other companies. They let other companies sell registrations on .com. So you can pay one of these. They're called the registrars. So like Namecheap is a popular one. NameSilo is one that I really like. And Name.com is another registrar. I'm not going to name a certain registrar that advertises at the Super Bowl because they have a history of being really, really bad. These guys are all okay in my book. So the way this works is you go to one of these and then you pay them. You pay NameSilo like $8.89, $8.89. And if the name is not taken, like say that I want .com, then NameSilo will be like, yeah, we can get you .com. That's $8.99. Then you pay NameSilo, and then they tell any of these guys will tell VeriSign, we just sold blah .com. And so if anybody requests it, by default they're going to start by hosting their own, like how Google had their own name server. NameSilo is actually called, I think, DNS Owl. They're going to say, ask our DNS Owl name servers, ns.dnsowl.com, or ns1 and like ns2. And so, and then you can set up records with these to point it to, you can, if you have a computer, you have your own IP address, you can tell it, NameSilo's DNS Owl servers to point to your computer. So you can actually host your own website on your own home IP address using this. As long as your IP address doesn't change, and it'll change like kind of every time you connect depending on the ISP. But that's how the DNS system works. That's the best I can do to explain it.